What's going on, everyone? This is End Time. You are at Drama Free Gaming. It is what it says, and it says what it is. This is actually a segment of DFG chats, something that I am trying to kind of start up here on the channel and kind of mix in with the longer format podcast. This will just be exactly what I introduced it to be, DFG chats. And this is me hanging out with you for a little bit and just sharing with you a couple of thoughts that I have regarding maybe the news, the gaming news, gaming industry, what's happening, my perspective just as a gamer, as a consumer, as a person whom loves the hobby and grew up with gaming and very much appreciate what retro still offers today. But I'm concerned as well, like many who are out there and who are going to listen to this, that the gaming landscape is changing at such a dramatic rate that game preservation is going to fall to the wayside, at least in the way that we think or we hope it would be preserved. And maybe a new medium might step in, or maybe that new medium is already here. Talking about that new medium, one of the things that I caught on the Xbox business showcase, which they had, I believe it was about a week ago, maybe a little bit more at this point. Things happen so often and so fast. News becomes old news quickly. But if you were able to see that and tune in, you heard a lot of things said by Phil Spencer and Matt Booty and Sarah Bond. And one of the things that struck me, of the many things that they said, one of the things that Sarah Bond brought up was the number of Game Pass subscribers. Right now, they are up to supposedly 34 million active users or subscribers. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not sure if she says subscribers or active users or just 34 million on Game Pass. Maybe that's what she said. If you want to go back to the video, go ahead. I'm not going to do that. It's not really that important to me. But I found that number interesting because in another podcast or interview, I believe Phil Spencer said that the goal of Xbox was to increase that number, that Game Pass number. Their ultimate goal was to hit, or is to hit, 100 million by 2030. So we're in 2024. So in 6 years, they're looking to jump from 34 million, again, active users, subscribers, or just people engaging with Game Pass. They're looking to triple that number, pretty much triple that number to 100 million. Now, that just blows my mind that we live in a time, again, where gaming has grown in such leaps and bounds that what used to be at times localized, and what I mean by that was that many people in the retro era, my retro era, when they wanted a specific game that was not going to be launched stateside, they would actually import the game. That's what they would have to do because that game would not see the light of day in the States. And now we're talking about having a reach of over 100 million users. Will Xbox hit that number? Will Game Pass become that big? I'm not sure how to even answer that, other than saying I believe it has the potential to do so. How they're going to get there beats me. I can take some guess, but I think about just the massive reach and what the ambition is, and I think it was IGN, and it was McCaffrey, who said that Game Pass, he made the comment, he said, Game Pass is Xbox and Xbox is Game Pass. And I think what he meant by that was that there's going to come a point if Xbox does away with, or I should say, shrinks its business on the console producing side, that Xbox is really going to run and be what it is because of Game Pass, because of Game Pass accessibility and subscribers and yeah, and subscriptions. Um being able to play on any device anywhere you want is something that is appealing. It's something that is far more reaching than any box you and I can have at home and buy software for it, whether that's digital or actual physical media, which is, as you know, fading away. That's just the reality. And so 100 million in 6 more years by 2030. Do I think personally that Xbox can hit it? I I would hope so. I would hope so. Or at least they near getting that many um, active users, because again, even though I've decided, how I've mentioned here many times, I've decided not to continue my subscription at this time. Who knows? Maybe in the future I might subscribe again to Game Pass. But at this time, I chose to not continue my subscription, and it expires as of this recording. It expires here in about another 10 days or so, and I'm okay with that. I don't have FOMO. I'm actually playing my games that I physically have and physically own. And in the course of playing my games, I have discovered Dragon's Dogma Arisen, playing that on my PlayStation 5. It's a PlayStation 4 game, but playing that on my PlayStation 5, and just popped in for the first time on Xbox Skyrim. And I understand now why that game gets launched and relaunched, and the modding community out there that has continued to give new life to this game. It's awesome. It's awesome. And I've been playing it between that and Dragon's Dogma Arisen. I've been going back and forth between those two games here for the last 2 or 3 days. Amazing games. But I missed these games because I was wrapped up in other titles at the time. And again, the ever increasing backlog, just purchasing games and purchasing games and purchasing more games and adding them to the backlog, and saying to myself and convincing myself, yeah, you're gonna play them. And that never was the case. And so I don't have that problem anymore. You want to address your backlog, you want to get rid of your backlog, maybe you need to get rid of your subscription. I'm not advocating for you to do that, but maybe you should disconnect and pay attention to what you have. But that's just my opinion. Anyways, that's part of just what I wanted to chat with you guys here about. Something else that I heard during this last week or so that caught my ear was Disney. Yes, Disney putting, or investing, I should say, $1.5 billion, billion with a B, into Epic Games. And so, what does that mean? It means that Disney realizes, or maybe has looked at again at their properties that they own, right? And have said, hey, why don't we jump into this gaming industry full force, really put some money where our mouth is, and let's go, contract with some with some individuals to make games out of our IPs. And so, yeah, that's good for us gamers. There's going to be more variety out here. I think on the Switch they just announced Mickey's rebrushed or something to that effect. I mean, I kind of sort of tried it out when it first I think came out on it came out earlier. I think it was on the Wii. I think it was on the 360. I don't know. I'm not too sure, to be honest with you guys, but it was okay, you know. But it was Mickey Mouse, right? And we've seen Donald Duck, and we've seen other um, characters out there, and maybe now that Disney has Marvel, who knows what games can come out of there, right? We've seen Spider-Man. We're waiting on Wolverine. Well, I say we, identifying gamers, but I'm not really waiting on Wolverine, to be honest with you. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see this investment that Disney has made, and trust me, it's an investment because all these companies are here to make money, and so hopefully they don't put out trash, and it'll be worthwhile IPs, and it'll add to the gaming landscape. And honestly, I would love to see smaller titles, smaller uh, more concentrated experiences, and not some large, it's going to take 7, 8, 9 years to produce games, but rather give me smaller experiences, um, and let me enjoy a game for 5, 6, 7 hours. um you know make it good, make the gameplay fun, and yeah, and people will be there, and they will purchase the games. Um, and that's all I got to say about that. The last thing here was just another topic that I just heard brought up in a question that was asked. How long a wait should we anticipate before a first party title is released on PC? And I think this came into view because of the whole Xbox releasing or putting their first party titles on other platforms and even competing platforms. And I mean, that wasn't the case here recently. Pentiment, Grounded, uh, were two games that were just announced on the Switch, on the current Switch. And so, yeah, Xbox is testing the waters, and they've been doing this, and they made the comment as well as to exclusivity as we know it now is going to, in their opinion, and maybe 5, 6, 7 years down the road, is going to be smaller and smaller and smaller. And the reason for it, why, guys, is no surprise. You shouldn't be surprised, and I shouldn't be surprised, is because you got to make that money. If you don't make that money, you have no business in gaming, period. With the cost of producing these games, and I'm talking about these first party titles, if they don't put their games out on more platforms day and date, then they're not going to reach the people that they need to buy their products so that they can take that money and reinvest and continue making games. That's just how it works. And so, people get up in an uproar and upset and saying, oh, but, then why should I buy an Xbox? Well, buy an Xbox because you like the Xbox, because you like it, because you can plug it into your TV and plug and play, because it's a system that you love. It's a system that I love because I love the controller. I love the ecosystem. And that's why I will buy an Xbox as long as the Xbox is available for me to purchase and as long as it makes sense for me. If Xbox, or for that matter PlayStation, or any of these current console makers, Nintendo included, right? There's only the three that we think of here: PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. um if all of a sudden they go digital and there's no other option, there's no other choice, then that's a decision that you and I, again, as gamers, are going to have to make at that time. But games being on PC day and date, or at least sooner than later. I mean, who wants to play a game a year later? I mean, I always use the example of when I played Vanilla Destiny, and when it launched, I had played the alpha, the beta. I mean, I just played the stuffing out of that game. um, and I was just chomping at the bit for it to come out. And when I heard and found out and knew that content was going to be exclusive to the PlayStation ecosystem for a year before it was going to come out or be released on Xbox, guess where I played? On PlayStation. And this is coming from a gamer who prefers the Xbox ecosystem, the Xbox platform. I've always said it, I like the controller better. I like the Xbox controller better than I like the PlayStation controller. And so for me, it was a no-brainer, because I was playing Destiny to play all of the content, not wait a year later. So think about that in the sense of when games come out on our consoles, Xbox, PlayStation. I mean, not Nintendo, because Nintendo don't put games, their first parties, on PC. Maybe that'll change in the future, who knows? But for now, they don't. But Sony and PlayStation, first party titles, who wants to play God of War Ragnarok on a PC and have to wait a year later? The reason that was done in the past, that Sony would do that in the past, was because they wanted people to buy their console. But consoles don't make these companies any money. They lose money. And with this whole generation of consoles, in my opinion, it has proven, if anything, that anything can turn the gaming market and the entire economic market upside down. We went through COVID, and that pretty much stopped everything. And these companies now are reassessing and realigning themselves and realizing, hey, you know what? The console is not what's important. It's the games. And so, I want to play the games like immediately. I don't have time to wait for it to come on my platform that I own. And that's kind of messed up when I think about it, because I had the opportunity, the blessing, I should say, to play Destiny, Vanilla Destiny, on PlayStation, because I had a PlayStation and I had an Xbox, and I've always had all the consoles, and I got a gaming PC. But how many people out there don't have that and had to wait, you know? So that's my spiel. Hopefully I've given you something to think about, something to continue chatting with your friends. At the end of the day, this is all just fun. It's news, and I'm not here arguing or fighting or saying things should stay one way or the other or change one way or the other. It's just gaming. It's just games. And these companies are going to do what they have to do. And hopefully what they do is not only in their best interest, but also for us, the consumer. But they're going to do what they need to do in order to grow and in order to continue making games and being prosperous and existing. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But until next time, guys, I hope that you are well, do good, be good, and remember to always keep your gaming and your life drama free. I'll catch you on the next one. Later.